Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. And today, we're back to talk about the Seattle Storm, a team that has had many a question mark in the offseason. And I'm excited to get into all of the details, but before we do that, we're your hosts, John and Kristen Barber, and I should check in on Kristen to see how she's doing. So how are you doing?
I'm good, John. I have a lot of energy tonight.
Love it.
Somehow.
You're
I
juiced.
had a medium Dunkin' iced coffee this morning. Not sponsored. But that is fueling me for sure today.
Yeah.
Still.
You finished it?
Mm-hmm.
This is rare, folks. She's usually a small iced coffee person.
I should not have.
No. Well, it's okay. Give yourself a treat.
Well, and then at work, I was like trying to scan a QR code, you know? And my coworker was like, "Why are you so shaky?"
Ooh.
I was like, "Sorry, it's because I had my medium coffee."
That's all it takes sometimes. But that's good. That means you're bringing the energy to the pod, and we're excited to see that. If you're new here, welcome to Attack the Baseline. Happy to have you. For all the new listeners that have been joining as we approach the 2025 WNBA season, if you'd like to reach out to us and let us know how you're feeling about the show, about the season previews, or about the season to come, you could do so at our email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or you could connect with us on Bluesky or Instagram at ATBPod. Very, very much looking forward to posting as the season goes. Even just talking about preseason gets me so excited to be on Bluesky because there's such an active community there. So very excited to engage on that platform throughout the season. So before we talk about the Seattle Storm, the other day when we recorded about the Fever, we mentioned the shocking waiving of one Cheyenne Sellers from the Golden State Valkyries, who, as we're recording this, are playing for the first time ever tonight, which I'm excited to hopefully get a chance to check in on. But Cheyenne didn't sit on waivers for long. She was picked up rather quickly, and she lands with the Atlanta Dream. Kristen, at this hour, your first reactions?
I love this for her. Assuming that the Dream intend to keep her and have her make the team, which I think would be weird if she didn't. Right. Since they claimed her off of waivers. I love this. I love this group of women. I think that's going to be such an exciting, like, fun-loving team. Just the atmosphere of it. Not necessarily that they're going to win a title this year, but just like the atmosphere, the way she can learn from the vets there. I think it's great for her.
It couldn't, literally, I don't think she could have landed in a better position for her, given her archetype as a taller guard that has a lot of different skills. Like, to be around Ryan and be around Alicia, they're perfect players to base her game off of. I don't know who she like models her game after. I imagine there's somebody there, but it would be pretty funny. Like, I guess physically, especially with the way that she wears glasses, it reminds me a lot of Alicia Gray.
Yes.
So like, I'm glad that it was quick for her to get picked up. I hope she makes the team. I hope Pow Pow also makes the team, of course, very important to note. And it looks like there is likely 2 spots that they could fill just from where we were at. Like, it's not an inevitable situation of like, this is going to be an uphill battle. She still needs to get out on the court and do whatever it takes to make the team. But I do feel confident that based on their interest, Atlanta wants her to be a part of their future. And I think that's really exciting for Shy and for Faith.
Assuming she's healthy.
Correct.
And can play.
And she was pretty excited about it on TikTok. I saw her dancing as soon as she was announcing that she joined Atlanta. So yes, assuming she's healthy is important. I should say listener Tim brought up a good idea about maybe Golden State asked her to get surgery, and she and her team and her party said, no, we don't want to do that. We would rather play through it. And then maybe they said, well, then we're going to move on from you. Again, complete speculation. Don't have any proof of that. Her family is saying that she's healthy. I could see that being a reason why they would say that, because like she thinks she could play, but maybe they still think the medicals are question marks. So all this to say, good luck, Shy. Go get it in Atlanta. She's not going to play in the first game, but hopefully she's out there very soon. Okay. Let's talk about the Seattle Storm. Any first thoughts about the Seattle Storm, where they sort of ended last season? They sort of go into this offseason. They make a very significant trade. Moving on from Jewel Lloyd, there's all the question marks about what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah. The Seattle Storm are definitely in a weird place. They thought they would do better last year. But they ended 25-15, which, like, don't get me wrong, is still good.
Not bad. 5th seed.
But you're right. The 5th seed, they didn't make it, to the championships or anything.
Right.
They had some disputes in the locker rooms, in the back office, which led to Jewel Lloyd leaving.
Right.
Which is a major player leaving. They've also had a number of other players leave and a number of players get hurt.
Yes. Right.
So I think, they're trying to win. That's their culture. They want to win. The Seattle Storm have such a history of winning. But they're in a really tough spot this year, I think.
I think so too. But I still feel a sense of optimism around this team. You have Skylar Diggins. We should say no longer Skylar Diggins Smith. Don't say Skylar Diggins Smith. Drop the Smith off. She's just going by Skylar Diggins. So respect Sky. Say Skylar Diggins or SD. We're going to maybe try SD. I don't know if I feel it the same way I feel SDS. But she's saying this is the most talent that she's been surrounded by in Seattle. So
that's interesting to say.
It is interesting to say, but there's a lot of key additions that I think are the reason that I feel semi-optimistic despite everything that's happened. So let's go through the departures from the top. They trade Jewel Lloyd for the number 2 overall pick, and in the big Kelsey Plum Jewel Lloyd trade, crazy stuff, bringing her to the Aces. They move on from Mercedes Russell. They move on from Sammy Whitcomb. They move on from Victoria Vivians, who actually, I believe, just hasn't signed a contract yet. So Victoria Vivians is still out there, I believe. And they move on from Joyner Holmes. Now, Sammy Whitcomb and Mercedes Russell, all contributors to this team, Victoria Vivians as well. So then we look over on the arrival side, and pretty quickly they signed Alicia Clark, who we did learn the other day was returning to Seattle, which I was not necessarily aware of. She was there for multiple title runs in Seattle. So that was they paid her a lot of money to come back to Seattle. They traded for Lexi Brown and Katie Lou Samuelson. They drafted Dominique Malonga with the 2nd overall pick, Serena Sundell at the 26th overall pick, Madison Connor and Jordan Hobbs at 29 and 34, who they have since confirmed waived from their training camp. They also traded for Leah Rue, I should mention, in that trade in the Jewel Lloyd trade. And they also have a number of interesting training camp contracts, like an Erica Wheeler or a Zaya Cook. So like players that have some W experience where you look at other training camp contracts and you don't necessarily know them if you're like us and you only have a year plus of experience with the W. Mm-hmm. So a lot of changes. And, why don't we just go back to the top? Katie Lou Samuelson, they make this. Well, I said it was a trade. It was more of a waive and a sign. She gets waived by Indy and she signs a new contract with the Storm for more than what she had left on her contract. So she's actually getting extra paid what she would have. And, we've already mentioned this, but she tears her ACL. This is tough because she tears her ACL after she joins the team, which means that she is on the books for $90K one way or another. There's no way around it.
Right. So yeah, that obviously stinks. That compared to Nneka Mule, their rookie from last year, and Jordan Horston, who also both tore their ACLs, but those were in the off season, not with the team.
Correct.
So they are off the books this year.
Right.
They don't need to be paid.
So it's weird to say
also sucks
I know
because they're hurt. They are on them. They're part of the team still. They're not waiving them completely because that would be wild to do.
Right.
But the Storm just doesn't have to pay them because they're missing the whole year because they're injured.
Right. Nneka Mule, if we talk about her, she got hurt in her first game in EuroLeague or wherever she played in Turkey, maybe. That was sad. And we talked about it when it happened because it was really so long ago. But the suspension of her contract means she won't be back for this year. And the Jordan Horston injury, for me, was, I believe, happened in AU.
Yeah, it was in February in Athletes Unlimited.
That one hurt. I was very fond of watching Jordan Horston this past season. I think she was one of the best, first players off of the bench on any of these teams, spot starter, really, really good player, Jordan Horston. I think she was ready to take a leap and into another season of the W. So losing her really hurts this team's depth. And, bringing it back to Katie Lou, I had Katie Lou as one of their 5 starters. And she is no longer playing a game and, taking up a spot in this cap sheet. So let's look at the starting 5 for the Storm here.
Okay.
Why don't you roll down the 5 that I have here?
Sure.
And we'll talk through it.
We have written down Skylar Diggins Smith.
That was before I did this exercise before she came out with that.
Yes. So Skylar Diggins as the point guard, Gabby Williams and Alicia Clark as starting guards. Well,
it's Alicia Clark is like a guard forward.
Yeah.
She's only 5'11".
Nneka Ogwumike as a power forward and Ezi Magbagor as the starting center.
So I should say up front, this isn't necessarily, I don't feel great about this as the starting 5, just from perspective. Obviously, we watched one game by the Storm in preseason, the only game that we're going to get. And Erica Wheeler started. So that was interesting. Spoiler alert, I don't necessarily have Erica Wheeler making the team, but I think there's a chance, like a 50-50 chance she makes the team. But I don't really feel great about penciling Alicia Clark into the starting lineup here. I think she serves best in a role player off the bench role. So the other options that I could see possibly happening is Lexi Brown starting at the 2 and moving Gabby into her main role as a forward. Gabby is a forward. I just think it works here for her to play the 2 instead and move her down. But now that they have less size, you almost need to put Gabby back where she belongs, unless they decide to play Dominique
right
out of the gate in the starting lineup, which
with Ezi. Go for it.
And that would be like a situation where you do Skylar, Gabby at the 2, and then you do Nneka at the 3, Dominique Ezzy. Like that is a big front court, really big front court. But like, I have no reason to believe that Dominique Malonga, who's a very fit and athletic player, could play that way. I think it's possible.
No, I think she should, honestly, at least to start, try it out. Like they were talking, so Dominique was there at the preseason game, but she didn't play because she only arrived from France one day earlier. Right. Or wherever she was. She was in the United States for the draft.
Yeah, so she was probably moving. She was probably all over the place, to be fair. For a 19-year-old, like, it's probably been an absolute whirlwind for her.
But they were talking to her about really how she's been playing professional basketball for years now.
Yep.
Because in France, like the league is younger people and the league is professional. It's not like here where people wait until they're 22 to start playing in the W.
Right.
So she has experience. She, second overall, she is going to be so good. People are so hyped to watch Dominique Malonga play. So I want to see that, honestly. I want to see her start.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Like even today, when I write in, AC over Katie Lou, I would prefer Dominique by far. It's just hard to say that the rookie who hasn't played a minute yet is going to start right away. But she is a second overall pick, and that's kind of what you do with those top picks. I mean, Sonia Citron, she's going to start. Paige, obviously going to start. A player like Anissa Morrow, probably going to start. And so, it's
I
there.
I think it's fine. Like, Alicia Clark has been coming off the bench.
That's why I say it's feels weird to put her in a starting lineup.
Yeah, so it's fine. That's what I want.
Okay. Then we pencil out Alicia Clark, and we move in Dominique Malonga. And that's the reason that I think there should be optimism, because
for sure,
from the clips that I've seen of Dominique, she is going to be a beast. And I think this front court is going to be crazy. I've always been high on Ezzy. I think Ezzy's a good, capable, spacing center that's really long. Nneka is in really, really good shape. In that preseason game, Nneka was awesome. And I want to go down the rest of the roster here, because I have a comment about another player. Let's go from the top. Lexi Brown, we have making this team. She's on a protected contract, so that makes sense.
If you're just tuning in to Attack the Baseline, you won't know our views on Lexi Brown.
That differ, yes.
John loves Lexi Brown.
I wouldn't say love Lexi Brown, but I'm a believer.
You are a Lexi Brown believer. Not that I'm not. I think she played well in the preseason game. However, she struggles with Crohn's disease.
Correct.
And often misses time.
Right. Yes.
In this case, perhaps availability is the best ability.
No. Disagree. Disagree.
Okay.
Lexi's there. Lexi's ready to play.
Good. I want to see her play. I want her to be there.
I agree. We've already mentioned that AC will likely be on the bench here instead of Dominique. You got to mention Katie Lou Samuelson counting as a roster spot effectively, because she got the injury with the team. So you got to count her as one of the 11 players, which is kind of weird. And then I want to mention Lee Yaru before I talk about the question marks on the team. Lee Yaru, in under 20 minutes in that preseason game, went 15 and 10, 15 points, 10 boards. She looked awesome.
Good.
She looked awesome. At times in the Sparks last year, it kind of looked like she was having a tough time figuring out where she should go with Rakia and with De'Erica and with Azare. For some reason, she looked completely rejuvenated, looked really good defensively yesterday. And I think Lee Yaru is going to be pretty key for this Storm team if they want to have a chance. I think she's maybe their best potential bench asset behind Alicia Clark.
Right. Yeah. I mean, perhaps she was just put in a tough position last year on the Sparks because Cameron Brink got hurt and then she had to start.
Right.
When she wasn't necessarily going to be originally.
Right.
So perhaps, she is more comfortable, better from the bench.
Right. And I think that what this will give Noelle Quinn the opportunity to, in almost a good way, they could play any of Nneka, Ezzy, Dominique, or Lee at the 5 or at the 4. It's going to be like a good big rotation that I don't think, like maybe one of the better big rotations in the entire league.
Yeah.
That I don't think they need to worry about any extra depth at that position.
Like when you look at some of these teams, how small they are, this is crazy.
Yeah. They have a
like
big team.
Huge.
Yeah.
Wow, that excites me.
Huge and athletic, I'll say. And now I want to talk about the last 2 positions on this roster. I have 2 open spots that will be likely occupied by 2 of these 4 players. We have Zia Cook, Mackenzie Holmes, who played well in the preseason game, Erica Wheeler, and Serena Sundell. Now, Serena Sundell is one of the rookies that they took at the top of the 3rd round, a rookie that I had going in the end of the 1st in my mock. That I saw a lot of positivity around her. They were giving her reps in that preseason game as the primary ball handler. So I feel like when there's a question mark about, Lexi Brown, like Sky needs to take a break at some point. You need to have a confident ball handler. And it looked like Serena was a confident ball handler, except she picked up her dribble a little early. She would get across the line, pick it up, and like someone would have to run over to help her out. I think that's an easy thing that she could learn to improve upon, because now she's going to have real professional pressure on her. But I do think, like, given her size and her ability to shoot the ball, I think they really should consider signing her to one of those 2 spots, even if she's unproven, because I think she has a lot of talent. And then that leaves that last spot open. If it's between Holmes, Wheeler, and Zia Cook, I have Zia Cook penciled in here, despite Erica Wheeler starting in the preseason game. Now, that could be an unpopular opinion. I think the benefit that Erica Wheeler brings is that she's a veteran player. She's been in the league for a long time. She's not one of my, I'll be completely honest, she's not one of my favorite players to watch. I don't think she's particularly a great shooter. She can handle, but like if they want to bring her in, it's just for veteran leadership, which is certainly helpful. But like Skylar, they have Skylar and Nneka. I don't think they need more of that.
And Alicia Clark.
Correct. I feel like there's more upside in Zia Cook, who's younger and a little more athletic, who played fairly okay in that preseason game. And she's a little bit cheaper, because right now you're so cash strapped because you have $90,000 of Katie Lou Samuelson sitting in your cap sheet that you can't move and you can't do anything about. Like, they're one injury away from going into hardship mode.
I mean, honestly, thank God that Nika Mule and Jordan Horston weren't on this team when they got hurt.
Well, then they would be like, they would have some reasons to go over the cap. They would get like,
I guess.
I don't really know how hardship contracts work, because I've read the CBA like 15 times and it doesn't make sense. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't specify how big the contracts are. So if you know how the hardship contracts work in better detail, please send us an email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com. But even though Mackenzie Holmes was good, I just don't feel like they need another big. So I have it going Zia. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Wheeler here. But like, then they're only going to have 10 bodies and 11 paid players. And they've only got like $38,000 of cap. So they can't sign another person until maybe midway through the season when it's a prorated contract. So anyway, strengths and weaknesses?
I mean, absolutely. These bigs are a huge strength.
I would agree.
Like, these are good bigs.
Really good.
Yeah, really good. Like, impressive by them, honestly.
Right. I think they have collected a lot of capable bigs, and that is very helpful. If they can all do what they do, if Nneka Ogwumike has said that Dominique will have multiple poster dunks this season. Confident. You say like, oh, it never happens. I think Dominique is going to be playing different than any other player.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to give them a different level of competitive action.
And I do think it's such a strength that Dominique ended up on this team with Gabby Williams.
Yes,
and
who she's friends with.
They're friends with. They played together on the French national team in the Olympics.
Yes, and we didn't mention it, but good for Gabby Williams. She won. She won here because she said, "I'm only coming back to the W if you core me," and she was cored. We should say that she was signed in free agency via a core. She got.
We want to talk about coring. We love talking about.
We don't want to talk about
coring around here.
No more coring.
But I do think it's a weakness. Obviously, the injuries. However, it's probably the biggest weakness. And Noelle Quinn, the coach, has also said this, is just their 3-point shooting.
Right.
I guess, last year they had Jewel Lloyd, they had Sammy Whitcomb, who are like solid 3-point shooters.
At decent volume, too.
Right.
Yeah.
So Skylar is going to have to take on a lot of that burden.
Which she did a fair bit of in Unrivaled.
Oh,
I think she was.
I mean,
she did a lot of shooting.
Absolutely will do it. Not a question.
I agree.
But she's going to perhaps get tired. People will guard her. So you need to spread it out a little bit.
Right.
I hope Serena Sundell is a good 3-point shooter.
She shot like 7 threes per game in college, which is why I think it makes sense to keep her on the team.
Right. So obviously losing Katie Lou Samuelson just makes it that much worse, the 3-point shooting.
Right. So there are some question marks. Gabby Williams in general is just a question mark because she played very limited reps at the end of the season last year. But I am particularly high on her. Like France was in that final against the US and was winning for a good bit of it. And a lot of that was Gabby. So important to say that I think she's going to have a really good year now that she's, got paid the top of the cap money.
Yep.
So out of 13 teams, where do you have the Seattle Storm ranked?
Let me look.
I'll go first then, because I mentioned this with the Mercury. This was the team I switched with the Mercury. I previously had the Mercury ranked 6th, and now I have them ranked 8th. I have the Storm ranked 6th in the sheet. So they fall down one spot, but I think they're going to be particularly competitive as long as they stay healthy all year. I think their upside is a little bit higher than that. So 6 is my spot.
I have the Storm at 5.
Ooh.
Same as last year.
Okay. A little status quo year for them, despite the new additions. Okay.
And big losses.
Yeah. Big loss. I mean, if they're going to play an extra 4 games, like, are they going to have more than 25 wins? Certainly very possible. I've heard a lot of people in our comment sections say that they believe that the Storm are going to be sneaky good. So I think it's certainly there. But I'm excited about Seattle. I hope friend of the pod, Dat, who's our Seattle Storm fan, is excited to talk about this team.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
John doesn't know this.
No.
John, I just got an ESPN notification. Malonga dunks in drill.
Huge. She's dunking. Irrelevant
in her
breaking
first
news.
Practice, she dunked and gets the Storm hype.
Okay. Seattle, you might be the 1 seed this year.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not going up there. I don't believe that. But I certainly believe 5. Maybe even they can push for 4. We'll see. But that's going to do it for our covering the Seattle Storm. Very excited to watch this team and see what they're made of this year. Hope they can put it all together. Again, if you'd like to reach out to us and let us know how you're feeling about the show or about the W in general, you could reach us at attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or you could connect with us on Bluesky and Instagram at ATBPod. Kristen, do you have anything else about the Storm as you cock your head reading some news? Is there another?
No, I'm looking ahead.
Oh,
I was looking at Aces news. Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
For my Aces news.
About to go record that one. But Kristen, I'm staring at the baseline. What are we going to do?
Attack it.
Attack the baseline. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with the Vegas Aces.